Hey guys, what's going on? Thought I'd do a quick update on Tim Bohen's money bar indicator. This is a really cool indicator, and I mentioned briefly yesterday one that was on the top of the indicator, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. And it's doing well again today, so you can kind of see how useful this indicator actually is. So check out the link below. You'll find this full review of Tim Bohen's money bar indicator. It is phenomenal. It's only $49 for a lifetime, which is a really good deal. You can watch the presentation just right here. I'll also leave a link in the description below. It's just a 5 to 10 minute presentation from Tim Bohen. I'll also try and leave the link that's directly to the order page, so that if you don't want to watch the full webinar, you can go and buy this for $49 lifetime without having to watch the full webinar multiple times. The offer comes at the end of the webinar. I know that can frustrate a lot of people, so you can get a kind of an overview from me or from the start of watching some of the webinar, and then go directly using my direct link that I got from them. So you can go and buy this for $49 for a lifetime, which is crazy. So what is it? It's a simple low-cost service. So basically, it allows you to find low float small cap stocks that are starting to move or have the potential to really move. And a really good example is the top one at the moment, which is AREB. So here is AREB. This is the tool. This is the indicator or scanner, really, is what it is. And basically, it lists what the top stocks for the day are. And you can see that this is what they call the money bar. You can see as this moves along, this is the float being rotated through. So the bought and sold through the entire float, which is on the right here. And you can see AREB is getting rotated really fast here. You can see it move along. Each time the money bar gets to the end here, that's one full float rotation. So it's just about to do another full float rotation, and bang, it's going so fast here. So AREB has been at the top of the list, or at least in the top 5, for a day or two now. And yesterday I did a video, it was about 3 algos, and this was one of them. And I showed AREB had made the move, but look at this. Today, AREB was already ramping up pre-market. It was basically at the top of the list back here. So this is today and the end of yesterday. AREB was showing these huge multiples. So the thing that you look at is the multiples, right? So you see how it says 536x? That is the number of times that today the float has been rotated through. So you can look at these and say, hey, this is something that is very likely to squeeze the shorts and have some big moves coming up, and sometimes really big moves. And we'll see what's happening right now. But you can see in this region here, we were at already at 300x on the money bar, and bang, this thing has just exploded all the way from 308. It hit 479 already today, and it is active, so it is just going through its float faster than any. So the ones that are lower down, like these ones that have only done their float 7 times, are barely moving. So that's not something you'd be super interested in yet. You want to look at these top ones where the float's being rotated through hundreds of times, or at least 50 times. But you can see AREB is just on the go. And this is at the top of the moment. But we looked at this yesterday, and I showed in my previous video, when it was a few down here, it wasn't the top one, that it was already ramping up to make a move. And if you'd been on the ball, you'd have caught today's move from yesterday, basically, from anywhere in here. Because this is a forward-looking indicator. It tells you what is likely to happen, because they're running through the float, trapping lots of shorts, and often have big short squeezes that come in. So basically, that's what's happening right now with AREB. We can look at ARGD. I don't know if it was on yesterday's list, but it is now. So let's have a look at ARGD. So basically, you keep an eye on these, and then you can use some of your other technicals. So this one I wouldn't bother with, because even though the float's rotating a lot, the liquidity is so low, it's basically not really worth even looking at. So I wouldn't bother with this one. And yeah, so I would stick with ones that you can actually trade properly. This is just nonsense. So sometimes there'll be some nonsense up there. ARGD's float has rotated, but look at the float's only 12, so it makes no sense. So that would be something you just discard. You wouldn't think about looking to trade that. AREB though is something that is still worth watching, because it's still going through that float really fast. So it may pull back for a bit, and then what you can do with this indicator is you can look at previous highs, for example, look for pullbacks, use some other technical indicators, maybe something like Infinity Algo, to judge a buy-in For example, actually, let's put Infinity Algo in here and see what it has to say. See if it would have caught that move. I'm just curious because something like Infinity Algo used with the money bar indicator might be more effective, but I have no idea. So let's have a look and see. Infinity Algo. Here we go. Let's see if it would have given a buy. Because what you want to do is look at the high float rotation. Yeah, look at the smart buy. So this could be something that you really want to think about. If you're seeing the float rotating like mad, like you are now on the thing right here, and it's been doing this for a day or so already, and you start to see a buy sign the on something like Infinity Algo or your own technical analysis, that's going to be a solid buy, right? You're going to see a nice trade there. So that's just one way that I've been looking at using the Tim Bowen's money bar indicator for. You can add it to your other indicator systems and really get some value out of it. So I'm really impressed with this. I really like it. You have to kind of use it with a little bit of finesse here. The float is pretty small on it. It's just rotating through it really fast though. So I'll try and come back to this later in the week, or you guys can look at it as well and see if AREB continues up because there's still some serious volume and rotation going on inside AREB. So these are the money bars. This is how you use them. They're not too difficult. I've put more details in here. You can go through and learn who Tim is. He's been trading for 30 years. Really good guy, really advanced trader. He's in a lot of different programs, worked with a lot of top names in the industry. And so yeah, this was one. I don't think AREB was on it at this point when I took this screenshot. I don't see it on there. But a lot of these made big moves as well. So that's hopefully helpful, especially if you've just bought the AREB, not the AREB, the money bar indicator, is you might want to start thinking about how to use it. And this is how you use it. You find some of the top ones, bearing in mind what the float is. You look at the float rotation. Now, the timing is the hard part, right? Because this has already gone 558 times. The ones that I think might be the best are where it's only gone like a few hundred times, like maybe 100 or 200x, and has some other technicals that is attractive to you, like, for example, a smart buy here. And the same thing actually happened with AREB the other day as well. When I first looked at this, and again, I mentioned this previously in yesterday's video, where I was talking about my three top algos, one of which is this one, Infinity Algo, that we're looking at. And the second one that I talked about was the money bar indicator. And so combining the two could be really cool. So the float rotation is already really high back here on AREB. And again, a signal coming in from Infinity Algo. Bang. So the money bar is really it's a tool, an indicator you can add to your war chest to beat the market. I'll leave all the links you need in the description below. Hopefully it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.